Hi, I'm going to talk about the importance of the RNC rolling out a compelling social networking platform which will enable us to organize and mobilize our supporters and which can ultimately serve as the foundation of a new Republican online movement. I go into detail about what I think are the three key success factors, which are also three key differentiators from the RNC's existing social networks, mygop.com and Republican for a Reason. Quick look at what Obama's done to date. It's important because he's really uh, setting the bar here. The foundation of his grassroots efforts was his own private social network called MyBO at myBarackObama.com. It was launched 2 years ago in February 2007, which was 20 months prior to the election. At election time, the social network had over 2 million users, many who made calls, wrote blogs, attended and hosted events, and raised money from their friends online. This social network remains today. It's now part of Organizing America, which is a project under the DNC with an annual budget of $75 million a year. The social network will be a key tool to mobilize Obama supporters to help him effect his legislative agenda now. On the Republican side, our social networking efforts are relatively very weak. While many officials and candidates have presences on the various third-party social networks like Facebook, and the RNC has recently launched a couple of social networks, mygop.com and Republican for a Reason. Most of these networks lack good grassroots tools, and none of them has any meaningful scale or usage. Team Sarah is probably the largest by an order of magnitude, with over 65,000 users, which are very active. But obviously, this network is tied to the values of a particular politician and has no official sponsorship or direct participation by Sarah Palin. Therefore, I think its ability to scale is limited. We need an official network that is all-inclusive and has the capability and DNA to get to scale. What I'm recommending the RNC do is to deploy a social networking platform that not only allows the RNC to create a rich virtual community, but also allows any GOP candidate, official, or coalition to do the same. This is much like somebody can go in very quickly, create a custom social network on Ning, but the difference here is the RNC needs a platform with built-in grassroots tools. I think a compelling social network will really enable us to organize, engage, and mobilize constituents in politics, not just voting. So we really need to start treating supporters as an important part of an ongoing movement, not just donors and voters. This is what Obama's done so successfully. Three things the social network has to have. It's got to give people a voice with rich multimedia support. It's got to give them access to leadership. And last, it's got to give them power with self-service grassroots tools for taking action. Quick word about voice. Moderating these networks is very manageable with strong participation guidelines and just a few trusted volunteers with good moderation tools. Content on the site can also be self-policed by the members themselves with the ability for them to flag inappropriate content or abusive behavior. One last point. Obviously, social media is critical to capturing the youth vote, but it should not be considered a tool to exclusively reach that demographic. McCain's social network actually attracted thousands of first-time bloggers and social networkers, and the over 60% of the supporters on that network were over the age of 30. And I can tell you that the demographic of 40-year-olds to 70-year-olds was very well represented. And this has been the case for all of the conservative or Republican social networks that I've run and participated in as well. Here's a high-level architecture depiction of the functionality we need. It's basically a marriage of social media tools and online self-service grassroots tools. I'm not going to go into detail on all the functionality because I think it's fairly self-evident. The one thing I do want to point out here on the bottom is that all volunteer activity should be tracked and scored. This is a really important feature since it gives people public credit and therefore incentive to take action and contribute heavily. An important layer, this is, we've got to have single sign-on. All these tools have to be a unified suite of tools with single sign-on. Next is the customization layer, where each organization can deploy a subset of the features they may want to deploy different features depending on where they are, either in the campaign cycle or the governing cycle. And it's got to be able to give organizations the ability to create their own custom look and feel and match the look and feel of their websites. And last is integration to other social networks like Facebook. This would go beyond just embeddable widgets and badges, but would also include things like the ability to update news feeds on other social networks. So say, for example, I made 40 phone calls in one day for a candidate. That activity would automatically be displayed in my news feed on Facebook. So not only does that give me more recognition and incentive, but that entry also becomes a viral entry point for my friends to get involved as well. Again, the platform needs to allow all officials, candidates, coalitions, as well as the RNC to easily and quickly create their own custom networks. The networks are decentralized, but they're connected, effectively creating a GOP macro community or network of networks. So each community can stand on its own with its own look and feel, but they'll be connected through single sign-on and easy cross-pollination of content. So, for example, if I log in and I'm a member of the RNC community, my governor's community, and my congressman's community, I'd see those communities and be able to log in once, navigate to and from those communities, and then if I uploaded a video or posted a blog, when I go to post that content, I can very simply just select which communities I want that content to be posted to. The benefits to the party of deploying a network like this, won't go into detail here. Again, I think these are fairly self-evident, but just a word on viral database development. Social networks are viral loops. These things grow virally because friends are asking their friends to join. So each new user begets more users, resulting in exponential free growth. And the concept of a network of networks is a double viral loop because each community is a portal into the network. The more network nodes, the more members, the more content, the more valuable the overall network becomes, in effect becoming a virtuous circle. Real quick in summary, the social network has got to, deliver a very compelling user experience. It's got to be easy to use. It's got to allow rich media content. It's got to have single sign-on. It's got to be action-oriented with enabling tools, and it has to have leadership participation. Second, it's a platform not just for the RNC, but for all GOP candidates, officials, coalitions, to quickly and easily create their own network. Third, we need to be a network of networks to get to scale. And the last point I'd like to make is that it takes a lot of time to build up a community to scale, and we need to start our efforts now. Obama started his social network 20 months before the election. It's already 20 months to the 2010 elections, and we haven't even started. That's it. Thanks very much for listening.